Okay. Well, hi, this is Dr. Sharon Livingston, and I am president of Live Coaching Certification. And I want to introduce you to one of my favorite people in the whole world. And I know that sounds, like I'm exaggerating, but it's actually true. This is Dr. Gideon Stritch, who's here with me today. He he's got an incredible story, and it's particularly interesting to me because before I was training coaches, I was doing marketing research for pharmaceutical corporations with doctors. And over the past 25 years, I've seen major changes in what it's like to be a physician in today's world. And so, Dr. Smith, may I call you Gideon?
Yes, please.
And please call me Shannon.
Okay, Sharon.
So tell us a little bit about what you do, and then I'm going to, go into the backstory, how you got there, because yours is quite an incredible story.
Well, thank you. What I do is physician coaching, and basically I help doctors who are stressed or burned out.
And what does that mean? Tell me more about that.
Well, as you probably know, it's been in the news quite a bit lately that the amount of burnout, which is, stress that can't be contained or dealt with in doctors, has increased dramatically over the last 15 years, and particularly over the last 4 years.
Why the last 4, do you think?
Well, that's a very good question. There's been a number of research studies out, the most recent from Mayo Clinic. There are a variety of things that are causing more stress in doctors' lives than have been previously. And I think that's probably the cause of burnout. And those things include having to see a lot more patients in less time.
Right.
Having less control over their own practices. Many doctors now work for healthcare organizations or corporations and have to report to one or more bosses instead of being in charge of their own practice. And the other thing that's taken place is in the last 5 years, the government has mandated that all physicians use electronic medical records. And it's been a very rough transition. And what's happened is that doctors are now finding that they're spending more than 50% of their time essentially doing clerical work, which not only cuts into the part of the medical practice they enjoy, which is interacting with patients, but it also spills over into their personal life. A lot of times they go home and have to spend 2 or 3 hours catching up with computer data entry. And that's been a tremendous stress, and I think one of the larger contributors to burnout.
Joy. There was still a joy in work because people had come into it with a couple of different goals in mind. One, they wanted to do the right thing. They wanted to do something that was going to help society in some way. Two, they had this idea that there was a lot of respect for the doctor. And also that they would make a good income where they could raise their families and provide for them. And I mean, all of those are gone. There is still some of the satisfaction of doing the right thing, drama and all that, but it's not the same because how can you do the right thing in 5 or 10 minutes?
That's exactly right. And I think that's what has taken a lot of the joy and satisfaction out of practicing medicine is that, doctors really, for the most part, enjoy and are rewarded by interacting with patients, by seeing the results of their work as patients get better, or even if they don't get better, as they feel more secure and more comfortable and more in control of their lives. And what's happened is that doctors no longer spend that amount of time with the patients. They feel rushed, and therefore the quality of their interactions with the patients has decreased dramatically. And the other things that you mentioned were, the economics of being a doctor. And doctors still make a good living, but there are two things that have happened. One is that the actual salary of doctors has decreased dramatically since the last 20 years. Doctors now are making the same or less than they did 20 years ago in actual dollar amount. And when you account for inflation, that's a huge difference.
Right.
And the other difference is, especially with the younger doctors, is that they are now graduating from medical school with $250,000 or $300,000 in debt, and so they're under a lot of financial strain, in addition to their productivity strains at work. So those are two factors that have certainly changed dramatically since I started in practice.